It's the most wonderful time of the year, apparently. Although maybe not for Eva Levante, because I think she's been overworked, quite honestly. Despite that, hopefully she'll know which event is actually live this time, as the Dawning returns to Destiny 2 on the 10th of December. So in this video, of course, our main focus is going to be the Dawning weapons. So we'll go over the brand new weapon for the year and updated roles for all of the weapons that can drop, some of which are pretty juicy. Otherwise, as Bungie have outlined, there will be new armor sets which come with a dragon theme, plenty of cosmetics that we can pick up through Eververse or the event card, and as always there'll be cookies to bake. They even want us to make one for Crow. I can tell you right now I ain't doing it, but I might go after some of the weapons. So let's round them up in the video, guys. As always, I hope you enjoy this one. If you do, a rating really does help us out. Also, get subscribed to the channel, as that helps me out no end on YouTube. But now, let's get into it. Let's talk about the weapons for the Dawn in 2025. As always, Bungie tend to introduce a new weapon each year that these events roll back around, and this time we have the Mistral Lift. Now, this is a Void Adaptive Burst linear fusion rifle, so it's the type that fires a 3-round burst. And typically with these events, we tend to get a lot of event weapons dropped, so it does give decent chances at getting the rolls that you want. Looking at the first trade slot for Mistral Lift though, we have Withering Gaze, and aiming this weapon for a short period of time without firing grants the ability to weaken the next target, and the timer resets after firing or when you stop aiming down sights. It's an interesting bonus. Of course, it isn't the only way to weaken targets, so depending on your build, you may want to provide that weaken by a different source. Let me know your thoughts below. It can also roll Envious Arsenal though, where dealing damage with both other weapons before readying this one refills it from reserves. Plus this clown cartridge, Envious Assassin, Keep Away, Moving Target, and then we have Reconstruction, and all of those can pair up in the second slot with Bait and Switch, as well as High Ground, Firing Line, Precision Instrument, then there is Frenzy, High Impact Reserves, and Vorpal Weapons, so immediately a handful of pretty good rolls on this. Most notably between Reconstruction, Envious Assassin, Clown Cartridge, there are loads of ways to automatically refill the magazine or get larger magazines, as well as a lot of damage bonuses in the second slot, depending on what you want. But Envious Arsenal Bait and Switch, of course, will be a pretty nice one. And otherwise, there are some pretty classic linear fusion rifle perks there in terms of damage, so let us know what stands out to you and what you'll be looking for. This one, of course, also has the Dawning Surprise Origin trait, where defeating targets awards a Dawning gift, and defeated powerful targets count as more than one, and it has Viced Stinger as well. Moving on though, we've got the Albedo Wing, which was introduced last year. This is an arc aggressive glaive. And in the first trait slot, we have Grave Robber, Beacon Rounds, Replenishing Gauges, Eddy Current, and then the Strategist, Closing Time, which is a new one this season as well, which improves range, accuracy, and handling as the mag gets lower. Plus there is Air Trigger as well. Then in the second slot, it can get Golden Tricorn, Desperate Measures, Demolitionist, Lead from Gold, Close to Melee, Vault Shot, or Collective Action. So in the first trade slot, Eddy Current, Strategist, Closing Time, and Air Trigger have been newly added this year, and the second slot has Vault Shot or Collective Action, which have been introduced. Otherwise, the roles are fairly similar to what we had last year, where Beacon Rounds and Close to Melee was very popular, but also Grave Robber and Demolitionist is fairly solid. But of course now if you want a Vault Shot glaive, that'll be possible with the Albedo Wings, so share your thoughts on that one. Moving on though, we have Stay Frosty, which is a stasis lightweight frame pulse rifle. The first trade slot can get Rhyme Stealer, Lone Wolf, Encore, Moving Target, Killing Wind, then there's Enlightened Action and Tunnel Vision, which can pair up with Adrenaline Junkie, Desperado, Desperate Measures, Headseeker, Headstone, Kill Clip, or Frenzy. Last year, Moving Target and Desperado was the most popular role by a fair margin, although both Headstone and Headseeker were popular second slot perks, so those roles are still available this year. Although for PvE, if you wanted Frost Armor, there's Rhyme Stealer and Headstone, and outside of that, I think players are probably largely going to go for similar roles to last year's event. But let us know what you think. We then have the Glacioclasm, which is a Void High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle, and the first trade slot this time can get Air Trigger, Envious Assassin, Lone Wolf, Overflow, Slide Shot, Subsistence, and Under Pressure, and in the second slot those can pair up with Vorpal Weapon, Closing Time, Desperate Measures, Withering Gaze, but there's also Control Burst, High Impact Reserves, or Reservoir Burst. Last year, Under Pressure and High Impact Reserves or Reservoir Burst were pretty much the two most popular roles on this weapon. Those are still available, although this year there are a couple of bonuses that affect the magazine in one way or another, Air Trigger or Envious Assassin. I could see some folks wanting to go after Control Burst on this potentially as well. However, that takes us to the Avalanche, which is the Solar Adaptive Frame Machine Gun. The first trade slot can roll Auto-Loading Holster, Subsistence, Dynamic Sway Reduction, Rewind Rounds, Closing Time, Dragonfly, and Heal Clip. Then the second slot can get Incandescent, Vorpal Weapon, Cascade Point, plus this Target Lock, Firing Line, Golden Tricorn, or Collective Action. And last time, most popular roles consisted of things like Rewind Rounds or Subsistence, paired up with Incandescent or Target Lock. Again, we can still go after those this season, but this time around, we do have the option of Heal Clip Incandescent, plus I think Dragonfly and Incandescent could be interesting too. And finally, we have the Zephyr, which is the Stasis Adaptive Frame Sword. Now, the first trade slot this time can get Duelist's Trance, Relentless Strikes, Tireless Bleed, Rhyme Stealer, Valiant Charge, Strategist, and Attrition Orbs. And in the second slot, those compare with Cold Steel, Whirlwind Blade, Collective Action, Vorpal Weapon, One for All, Chain Reaction, or Surround It. Last year, of course, Relentless Strikes and Cold Steel was the most popular role by a wide margin. We still have the option to go after that this time around, but of course we can build into the Frost Armor component a little bit with Rhyme Stealer. It's also nice that we can now pair things like Attrition Orbs with Cold Steel, as last year Attrition Orbs was in the same slot as Cold Steel, so a couple of minor changes to the weapon, and let us know what standout perk roles you think you might go after this time around. For today though guys, that's a quick preview of the Dawning weapons for this year, so certainly plenty of players will go after the new one, and there'll probably be some older weapons that players will hunt down again, either to get juicy rolls that they missed out on last time, or variations on them for this year's event. So again, let us know what you'll be looking out for, but if you've enjoyed the video and found it useful, a rating below really does help us on the channel. Also be sure to get subscribed and I'll keep you posted with more Destiny content. Otherwise though, I appreciate you tuning in, and I hope you guys have an awesome day.